You saw the headlines. Sean Diddy Combs sentenced to 50 months in federal prison. But what happened 72 hours later will blow your mind. October 6th, President Trump did something that shocked even his own advisors. He confirmed on national television that Diddy asked him for a presidential pardon, and he's actually considering it. But here's what the media isn't telling you. Stick around because the real story involves unnamed co-conspirators, sealed documents, and a deal that could change everything. Let me explain. October 6th. Just 3 days after Diddy's sentencing, Trump walked into a press conference and said these exact words. "I've had a lot of people ask me for pardons. I call him Puff Daddy. He has asked me for a pardon." The President of the United States just casually dropped that one of the most controversial figures in entertainment asked him for a favor, on camera, in front of reporters. His response? We're looking at it. A lot of people have been treated very unfairly. Now, according to sources familiar with the matter, people actually in the room during these discussions, Trump's team is actively reviewing this request. And here's what's crazy. Legal analysts say a 3-day turnaround from sentencing to presidential acknowledgement is virtually unheard of, which means Diddy's legal team has access most people don't. But wait, it gets stranger. Now, if you've been paying attention to Trump's pardon history, you know this isn't his first rodeo with celebrities. 2021, he pardoned rapper Lil Wayne for a frivolous gun charge. He pardoned Kodak Black for weapons possession. Second term, he pardons Rod Blagojevich for political corruption. He even pardoned Todd and Julie Chrisley, the reality TV stars. So Trump clearly isn't afraid to use that pardon pen. But here's where the pattern breaks. All those pardons, gun charges, tax crimes, political stuff. Diddy was convicted of transportation to engage in prostitution, sex-related charges. That's a completely different ballgame, and a political calculation most presidents wouldn't touch. So why is Trump even considering this? That's where things get really interesting. According to multiple sources close to the negotiations, people who spoke on condition of anonymity because of how sensitive this is, Diddy's legal team has reportedly put together what insiders are calling a 4-part offer. And when you hear what's on the table, everything starts to make sense. Part 1, political intelligence. Diddy spent decades in Democratic Party circles. Remember his Vote or Die campaign in 2004? That mobilized millions of young voters for John Kerry. Sources suggest his team is now offering Trump insight into Democratic fundraising networks, donor lists, strategy sessions, and who's really pulling the strings behind closed doors. Part 2, public advocacy. Diddy could become the face of Trump's criminal justice reform, a high-profile spokesperson for the First Step Act, someone who can reach communities Trump can't. Part 3, financial considerations. Since his arrest, Diddy has liquidated hundreds of millions of dollars in assets. Now, whether money plays any role here remains unclear, but it's certainly interesting. And Part 4, this one's wild, the persecution narrative. Diddy's lawyers have reportedly argued that the Southern District of New York, the exact same office that went after Trump, unfairly targeted their client. It's a message designed to hit Trump right in his conspiracy theory sweet spot. They came after you, now they're coming after him. But here's the problem. The numbers don't lie. According to recent polling, only 23% of Trump's own supporters would back a pardon for someone convicted of sex-related crimes. Among the general public, single digits. For a president who obsesses over polls and crowd sizes, this is a political minefield. So why would he risk it? That's where the hidden leverage comes in, and this is what nobody's talking about publicly. Here's what legal observers are quietly whispering about behind closed doors. The federal indictment against Diddy doesn't just mention him. It references multiple unnamed co-conspirators connected to alleged incidents spanning decades. Court documents specifically mention a 2011 kidnapping incident involving unnamed associates. The indictment describes an enterprise with multiple participants, but most remain unidentified. Translation: there are names in those sealed documents, big names that haven't been public. Now, legal experts following the case say that in plea negotiations or pardon discussions, defendants sometimes offer cooperation in exchange for leniency. Does Diddy have information about other high-profile figures? That remains purely speculative, but think about it. We're talking about someone who threw parties with A-list celebrities, politicians, and billionaires for over 30 years. Prosecutors often pursue leads on additional wrongdoing in cases like this. And if Diddy knows something or someone, that could be leverage. The indictment remains partially sealed. No co-conspirators have been publicly charged or named. But the speculation alone, that creates a certain kind of power. Now here's what makes this whole thing even weirder. Diddy and Trump, they go way back. They've been photographed together at events for decades, two New York moguls who recognized each other's hustle. Trump once called Diddy a good friend in a 2012 interview, but their relationship has had phases. 2004, Diddy's running Vote or Die, explicitly Democratic, campaigning for John Kerry against Republicans. 2020, he's criticizing both parties, refusing to endorse Biden or Trump. And now, he's asking a Republican president for a pardon. Sources close to Diddy's team say the strategy is brutally pragmatic. They're pursuing every possible avenue for relief. Political loyalty doesn't matter when you're facing federal prison, so the question becomes, what happens next? According to White House sources, the Attorney General's office is reviewing the case right now. Some see this as a loyalty test to celebrity supporters. Trump's advisors are split down the middle. Others see it as political suicide before the next election cycle. Meanwhile, Diddy sits in federal custody. His earliest release date, 2028. But Trump's exact words, we're looking at it, leaves the door wide open. Here's the real question. This isn't about whether Diddy deserves a pardon. The question is, what is he offering in exchange? Is it information? Is it money? Is it access to networks Trump wants to tap into? And more importantly, does Trump think it's worth the political cost? Because in Washington, everything is a transaction. And this one, it's still being negotiated. So what do you think? Will Trump pardon Diddy after the heat dies down? Or is this political suicide? Drop your take in the comments. I'm reading every single one. And if you want to stay ahead of stories like this before they hit mainstream media, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because trust me, this story isn't over. More developments are coming. Subscribe for that.